The transport shuttle descended through Krell 9's turbulent atmosphere, its hull groaning under the relentless assault of electromagnetic interference. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez remained perfectly still, her eyes closed in a moment of calculated meditation. Around her, the other soldiers, both human and alien, tensed with anticipation, their bodies rigid with the kind of fear that comes from truly understanding the planet's reputation. Krell 9 was more than just a battlefield. It was a living nightmare that had consumed entire military expeditions, a world so hostile that most species considered it impossible to inhabit, let alone fight upon. The planet's surface was a constantly shifting landscape of razor-sharp crystal formations, electromagnetic storms that could fry sophisticated electronic systems in milliseconds, and atmospheric conditions that changed with terrifying unpredictability. As the shuttle's stabilization systems fought against the planet's violent wind currents, Elena's breathing remained steady. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight regulation braid, her environmental suit a second skin that seemed to blend seamlessly with her muscular frame. Years of training on some of humanity's most challenging colony worlds had prepared her for environments that would break most species. 30 seconds to landing. The shuttle's AI announced, its synthesized voice betraying a subtle hint of concern. The other soldiers, a mixed unit of human marines and alien allied forces, checked their equipment with nervous hands. Quantum-locked energy shields flickered. Adaptive camouflage systems ran diagnostic checks, and communication arrays hummed with barely contained anxiety. Captain Marcus Chen, Elena's immediate superior, watched her with a mixture of admiration and curiosity. "Rodriguez," he called softly, "you planning on taking a nap as soon as we touch down?" A slight smile crossed Elena's lips. "First rule of survival, sir. Rest is a tactical advantage." The shuttle's external sensors screamed warnings as they breached the final atmospheric layer. Krell 9 revealed itself in all its terrible beauty, a landscape of obsidian-like crystal formations that caught and refracted the violent electromagnetic storms overhead. What looked like mountains were actually massive crystal structures that grew and shifted with the planet's unpredictable geological cycles. 3 alien species sat nearby, representatives of the Galactic Concordance's most advanced reconnaissance units. A crystalline being from the Quantum Harmony Collective, Zixik, observed Elena with sensors that could detect the most minute biological changes. Next to it, a gaseous entity from the Nebula Collective and a silicon-based lifeform from the Geological Confederacy watched with equal fascination. The landing was anything but smooth. The shuttle's stabilization systems fought against violent wind currents that seemed almost intelligent in their determination to prevent their arrival. Crystal shards the size of transport vehicles flew past the viewports, creating a kaleidoscope of dangerous beauty. When they finally touched down, most of the soldiers remained seated, their breathing shallow and controlled. Elena was already moving. With practiced efficiency, she began unpacking her compact survival pod, a marvel of human engineering that could transform from a lightweight carrying unit to a fully functional shelter in seconds. "You're not seriously setting that up here," Lieutenant Arya Patil muttered, her eyes scanning the hostile landscape. "We're in an active combat zone." Elena's movements were deliberate and calm. "Exactly why I'm setting it up," she responded. "The enemy won't expect someone to be this relaxed." The alien observers leaned closer, their various sensory organs tracking her every movement. Zix's crystalline form vibrated with what could only be described as scientific excitement. Preliminary scans showed Elena's stress levels were lower than most species' resting states, and they were about to get lower. As the first electromagnetic storm began to build outside, creating a symphony of destructive potential, Elena finished setting up her survival pod. With the same ease one might use to prepare for a peaceful night's sleep, she checked her environmental seals, ran a quick diagnostic on her personal systems, and then did something that would become legendary. She lay down and closed her eyes. The other soldiers exchanged looks of disbelief. The alien observers couldn't look away. On a planet that seemed designed to kill anything that dared to exist, Sergeant Elena Rodriguez was preparing to take a nap. The command center of Forward Base Epsilon was a marvel of galactic engineering, a mobile facility designed to adapt to the most extreme environments. Transparent adaptive walls shifted colors and density, providing both protection and situational awareness. At the center of this technological wonder, Sergeant Elena Rodriguez continued to sleep, becoming the primary subject of intense scientific scrutiny. Zixk, the quantum intelligence from the Harmony Collective, projected a holographic analysis that filled the entire command room. Layers of biological data, neural mapping, and environmental interaction charts surrounded Elena's sleeping form. Other species representatives gathered around, their various physiological configurations pressed close to the holographic display. "This defies all known biological protocols," muttered Dr. Krelix, a methane-breathing researcher from the Atmospheric Preservation League. His translucent environmental suit rippled with agitation, multiple sensory tendrils extending toward the holographic readouts. Her neural patterns suggest not just rest, but active processing. It's as if she's strategizing while simultaneously achieving the deepest possible state of relaxation. Captain Marcus Chen stood nearby, a knowing smile playing at the corners of his mouth. He'd seen this before. Humans adapting to situations that would completely overwhelm other species, but even he was impressed by Elena's current performance. The holographic display began to break down Elena's biological responses. Her brain showed unique activity patterns that seemed to blur the line between sleep and active consciousness. Rapid eye movement suggested deep sleep, yet her brain's analytical centers remained partially active. Neural pathways lit up in combinations that the alien researchers had never witnessed before. "It's evolutionary adaptation at its most extreme," explained Lieutenant Arya Patel, who had become an impromptu translator between the human capabilities and alien understanding. "Humans evolved on a planet with constant environmental challenges. Our bodies learned to rest while remaining prepared." Zix's crystalline form shifted, refracting light in complex patterns that suggested deep contemplation. The quantum intelligence's communication array hummed with excitement. "Your species continues to challenge our fundamental understanding of biological adaptation." It projected, the words appearing simultaneously in multiple linguistic formats around the command center. The methane-breathing Dr. Krelix zoomed in on Elena's respiratory patterns. Her breathing was slow and measured, yet each breath seemed to contain a level of efficiency that defied conventional biological understanding. Where other species required elaborate life support systems to maintain optimal performance, Elena's body seemed to be a self-contained survival mechanism. "Look at her metabolic rate," whispered a silicon-based researcher from the Geological Confederacy. Its crystalline appendages manipulated the holographic data, revealing layers of biological complexity. "She's conserving energy at a cellular level while simultaneously maintaining full operational readiness. It's not just sleep. It's a form of active regeneration we've never documented." Captain Chen stepped forward, providing context that the alien researchers desperately sought. "On Earth, we have a saying, 'Sleep is a weapon.' For humans, rest isn't about complete disengagement. It's about strategic recovery." The command center buzzed with a mixture of confusion and admiration. Preliminary reports from the initial planetary deployment were already streaming in, showing how human units maintained functionality in conditions that would have destroyed other military forces. Elena's ability to sleep soundly was becoming more than an individual quirk. It was emerging as a potentially game-changing tactical approach. Zix's research team began compiling a comprehensive report. They tracked Elena's biosignals, comparing them against known data from hundreds of galactic species. Each comparison revealed the same conclusion. Humans possessed an extraordinary ability to maintain peak performance under conditions that would incapacitate most other life forms. Adaptive resilience, the quantum intelligence finally concluded, its communication projecting a sense of scientific wonder, not just a biological function, but a complex survival strategy. Outside the command center, Krell 9 continued its relentless assault. Electromagnetic storms painted the sky in violent hues, crystal formations grew and shifted like living entities, and the planet seemed to breathe with a kind of malevolent intelligence. Yet inside, Sergeant Elena Rodriguez slept on, a living testament to humanity's extraordinary potential. As the alien researchers continued their analysis, they remained unaware that Elena was slowly becoming more than just a subject of study. She was about to become a legend that would reshape their understanding of survival, adaptation, and the potential of biological life. The first wave of the adaptive mechanical units, AMUs, approached like a living nightmare. They were not traditional machines, but a terrifying fusion of computational intelligence and adaptive biological matter. Each unit could reshape itself instantaneously, transforming from a ground-based assault platform to an aerial attack configuration in milliseconds. Sensors across Forward Base Epsilon screened warnings. Communication channels filled with panicked transmissions from various alien species. The AMUs moved with a collective intelligence that suggested something more than mere programming. They seemed to breathe with a predatory consciousness. Lieutenant Arya Patel's voice cut through the chaos. Defensive positions. Her hands moved across tactical interfaces with practiced efficiency, coordinating the mixed species defensive line. Quantum shields flickered to life. Adaptive camouflage systems engaged and weapon systems hummed with potential energy. Yet Sergeant Elena Rodriguez remained asleep. Captain Marcus Chen noticed the alien observers watching Elena with increasing confusion. Their sensory organs tracked her sleeping form, unable to comprehend how someone could remain so calm in the face of imminent destruction. The first AMU wave crashed against the base's outer defenses. Crystal formations on Krell 9's surface seemed to resonate with the mechanical units, providing unexpected pathways and cover. Electromagnetic interference created a dance of destructive potential, turning the battlefield into a constantly shifting landscape of danger. "Incoming!" shouted a geological Confederacy soldier, its silicon-based body already transforming into a defensive configuration. Energy weapons charge, quantum disruption fields activated, and every species prepared for what seemed like an unwinnable fight. But the human Marines moved differently. Where other units showed signs of panic, the human squadron operated with a calculated calm that bordered on the supernatural. Each Marine seemed to anticipate the AMU's movements, their reactions coming milliseconds before traditional sensor systems could detect the threat. Elena's second-in-command, Sergeant Michael Rodriguez, no relation, spoke softly into his communication array. "Maintain dispersal pattern Delta. Keep mobility high, engagement minimal." His words carried a confidence that seemed to calm the mixed species unit around him. The AMUs proved incredibly adaptive. They could absorb energy weapons, redistribute damage across their collective form, and reconfigure their attack patterns faster than most species could comprehend. A traditional defensive line would have crumbled within moments. But humans were anything but traditional. Sergeant Michael Rodriguez led a small team in a counterintuitive maneuver. Instead of concentrating their defensive efforts, they spread out, using the crystal formations of Krell 9 as both cover and tactical advantage. Each movement was precise, each position carefully calculated to maximize their limited resources. Zix's quantum intelligence analyzed the human approach in real time. The tactical display showed something unprecedented. The humans were treating the battlefield like a dynamic ecosystem, not a static combat zone. They moved like they were part of the environment, adapting as quickly as the AMUs themselves. An AMU unit attempted to flank the human position. In any other scenario, this would have been a devastating attack. But Sergeant Michael Rodriguez was already moving, his adaptive camouflage blending perfectly with the crystal formations. A precisely placed quantum disruption charge found the unit's critical vulnerability. The AMU didn't just fail, it completely destabilized, its adaptive systems turning against themselves in a cascade of computational failure. Back in the command center, Elena Rodriguez continued to sleep. Her biosignals remained steady, her body recovering and processing information at a level that defied conventional understanding. The alien researchers watched in a mixture of horror and fascination. As the first wave of the attack began to collapse, something became clear. The human approach wasn't just about fighting. It was about understanding, adapting, and turning the environment itself into a weapon. Captain Chen walked past the sleeping Elena, a slight smile on his face. "Wake up soon," he muttered. "The real fun is just beginning." The battlefield of Krellmine continued to shift and change, a living entity of crystal, electromagnetic interference, and technological warfare. And in the middle of it all, humanity was proving once again that adaptation was its greatest strength. The first confrontation was over, but everyone, human and alien alike, knew this was just the beginning of something much larger. The analysis center of the Galactic Conquests hummed with unprecedented activity. Holographic displays stretched across massive chambers, each surface covered with data streams, tactical assessments, and biological readings from the recent engagement on Krell-9. At the center of it all was a comprehensive study of human capabilities that was rapidly rewriting everything known about interstellar warfare. Dr. Lyra Chen, a leading xenobiological researcher, stood before a panel of representatives from 12 different galactic civilizations. Her presentation began with a simple holographic reconstruction of the recent battle, focusing specifically on the human Marine's performance. "What we're witnessing is not just a military strategy," she explained, her voice calm and precise. "It's a complete reimagining of biological adaptation and tactical response." The hologram zoomed in on Sergeant Elena Rodriguez, still shown in her remarkable sleeping state. Surrounding her image were complex layers of biological data that seemed to tell an impossible story. Her neural patterns suggested a level of rest and recuperation that simultaneously maintained high-level cognitive processing. Zixk, the quantum intelligence, projected additional analysis. Crystalline formations of data danced around the human surgeon's image, revealing layers of biological complexity that defied conventional understanding. The human nervous system, the quantum intelligence observed, appears to operate as a dynamic adaptive network rather than a fixed biological system. Representatives from various species leaned forward. The Atmospheric Preservation League's delegation, beings of pure energy and computational thought, found themselves particularly intrigued. Their own species relied on complex technological interfaces to maintain peak performance. Humans seem to do this through pure biological innovation. "Look at her metabolic efficiency," Dr. Chen continued. She highlighted a series of charts showing Elena's resource utilization. While other species require extensive recovery periods after high-stress situations, humans demonstrate an ability to regenerate and prepare for future challenges simultaneously. The Geological Confederacy's lead researcher, a silicon-based life form, projected additional data. Comparative charts showed how different species responded to extreme environmental conditions. Humans consistently demonstrated capabilities that seemed to break every known biological limitation. "It's not just about physical endurance," Dr. Chen explained. "It's about a holistic approach to survival that integrates physical, mental, and environmental factors in ways we've never documented before." The holographic display shifted, showing multiple engagements where human Marines had turned seemingly impossible situations into strategic victories. Each scenario demonstrated an approach to warfare that was less about overwhelming force and more about adaptive intelligence. Captain Marcus Chen, who had been quietly observing the presentation, stepped forward. "Humans evolved on a planet of constant change," he added. "Earth is a world of extreme variations, from freezing polar regions to scorching deserts, from dense forests to rocky mountains. Survival was never guaranteed. It was earned." The quantum intelligence Zixk processed this information, its crystalline form shifting with what could only be described as excitement. "Evolutionary pressure as a training ground for interstellar survival," it projected. The concept seemed to unlock new understanding for the assembled species. Dr. Lyra Chen zoomed in on neural mapping of human soldiers during the recent battle. Notice how their brain activity doesn't show traditional stress responses, she pointed out. Where other species would demonstrate elevated cortisol levels and decreased cognitive function, humans maintain a state of calm analytical processing. The Atmospheric Preservation League's representative asked the critical question, "How is this possible?" "Adaptability," Dr. Chen responded, "not just as a biological trait, but as a fundamental approach to existence. Humans don't just survive in challenging environments. They find ways to thrive in them." The presentation concluded with a series of projections. If human capabilities could be studied and understood, it could revolutionize everything from military strategy to species survival techniques. The sleeping sergeant became more than an individual. She represented a potential key to understanding adaptive intelligence. As the presentation ended, the representatives from various galactic civilizations sat in stunned silence. They had come expecting a routine analysis of a minor engagement. Instead, they were witnessing the potential rewriting of everything they understood about biological potential. Zix's final projection captured the moment perfectly. Humanity is not just a species, the quantum intelligence observed. It is a living laboratory of adaptive potential. The analysis center fell silent, the implications of this revelation hanging in the air like a promise of something extraordinary about to unfold. Part 5. Breaking Point. The Adaptive Mechanical Units, AMUs, launched their most sophisticated assault yet, a multi-layered attack designed to overwhelm through computational complexity that had crushed countless civilizations before. Their approach was nothing short of a technological nightmare, a symphony of destructive potential that would have sent most species into complete panic. Krell 9's surface began to transform. Crystal formations shifted and realigned, creating natural pathways for the mechanical units. Electromagnetic storms intensified, their energy signatures providing additional cover and computational support for the advancing forces. This was more than a battle. It was a total environmental manipulation designed to ensure absolute victory. Inside Forward Base Epsilon, most of the alien coalition forces prepared for what seemed like inevitable defeat. Quantum shields flickered uncertainly. Adaptive defense systems ran increasingly desperate diagnostic checks. The command center became a temple of mounting terror, with each incoming sensor reading suggesting total annihilation was moments away. Sergeant Michael Rodriguez studied the incoming data with a calm that seemed almost impossible. Tactical reconfiguration. He spoke into his communication array. Dispersal pattern Omega. Full adaptive response. The human Marines moved with a precision that defied conventional understanding. Where other species would concentrate their defensive efforts, the humans spread out, using the very environment that seemed designed to destroy them as their primary tactical advantage. Elena Rodriguez remained asleep, her biosignals a steady counterpoint to the chaos surrounding her. The alien researchers continued their observations, their various sensory organs tracking her with an intensity that bordered on obsession. Zix's quantum intelligence projected a real-time analysis of the battlefield. The AMUs approached in a configuration that should have been mathematically unbeatable. They moved as a single intelligent organism, each unit capable of instantaneous reconfiguration, each movement calculated to exploit every possible defensive weakness. Probability of survival, 0.03%. The quantum intelligence calculated, its crystalline form vibrating with the intensity of the computation. Yet the human Marines seemed to operate outside of these probabilities. Captain Marcus Chen moved between defensive positions, his movements calm and deliberate. Remember, he called to his troops, the environment is a weapon, not just something to defend against. The first wave of AMUs crashed against the human defensive line. Traditional military analysis would have predicted total destruction. Instead, something extraordinary happened. The human Marines didn't just defend, they adapted. Each Marine used the crystal formations of Krell 9 as dynamic cover. They moved with a fluidity that suggested they were reading the battlefield like a living organism. Quantum disruption charges were placed with surgical precision, not in predetermined positions, but in locations that would emerge seconds before they were needed. Sergeant Michael Rodriguez identified a critical vulnerability in the AMU's collective computational network. Most species would have required hours of analysis to discover such a weak point. He found it in moments, his tactical understanding operating at a level that seemed to transcend traditional computational logic. The AMUs began to falter. Their adaptive systems, designed to overcome any defensive strategy, found themselves confronted with an approach to warfare that defied their programming. The humans weren't fighting against the environment. They were becoming part of it. Zix's analysis showed something unprecedented. The human Marines were processing battlefield information at a rate that suggested a form of collective intelligence. Each soldier operated as an individual, yet moved with a synchronicity that implied a deeper, almost telepathic connection. It's not technology, Dr. Lyra Chen would later report. It's evolutionary adaptation taken to its most extreme form. As the battle reached its critical moment, something remarkable happened. The AMUs, for the first time in their operational history, began to show signs of confusion. Their collective intelligence encountered a strategy it could not immediately categorize or counter. Elena Rodriguez chose this moment to awaken. Her eyes opened with the same calm she had exhibited while sleeping. She assessed the battlefield in a single breath, her neural implants already processing tactical information, faster than the most advanced computational systems in the galaxy. The first wave of the AMU assault collapsed. Not through overwhelming force, not through superior technology, but through an approach to warfare that was quintessentially human, adaptive, unpredictable, and driven by an understanding of survival that went beyond mere technological superiority. The breaking point had been reached, and humanity had not just survived. They had redefined the very concept of survival. The aftermath of the battle revealed something far more profound than a simple military victory. Forward Base Epsilon transformed into a living laboratory of human potential, with alien researchers scrambling to understand the unprecedented performance of the human Marines. Captain Marcus Chen stood before a holographic display, breaking down the tactical approach that had seemingly defied all computational predictions. His presentation drew representatives from across the Galactic Conquests, each desperate to comprehend the humans' extraordinary capabilities. Adaptation is not just a strategy, Chen explained, his fingers tracing complex battle patterns. It's our fundamental approach to existence. The holographic display showed multiple moments from the recent engagement. Each scene demonstrated how the human Marines had turned the hostile environment of Krell 9 into a tactical advantage. Where other species saw obstacles, humans saw opportunities for innovation. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez moved between research stations, her post-battle analysis as methodical as her approach to combat. Alien researchers watched her with a mixture of scientific fascination and growing respect. Her neural implants continued processing battlefield data, finding patterns that traditional analysis would have missed entirely. Zix's quantum intelligence projected a comprehensive breakdown of human tactical approaches. The crystalline being's analysis revealed something extraordinary. The humans were operating with a form of collective intelligence that transcended traditional communication methods. Each Marine seemed to understand the battlefield as a living, breathing entity. Dr. Lyra Chen stood nearby, her research team compiling unprecedented data. Look at their metabolic responses, she told the delegation from the Atmospheric Preservation League. Most species would require weeks of recovery after such an intense engagement. These Marines are already preparing for the next potential conflict. The alien observers noted something even more remarkable. The human Marines didn't just recover, they actively learned from the previous engagement. Their adaptive systems seemed to integrate battlefield experiences in real time, creating a constant state of evolutionary improvement. Sergeant Michael Rodriguez led a training simulation that left the alien observers speechless. What appeared to be a simple tactical exercise revealed layers of complexity that challenged everything known about military preparation. The Marines moved with a synchronicity that suggested something beyond traditional training. "We don't train to follow orders," Michael explained to a bewildered Geological Confederacy researcher. "We train to understand the environment, to become part of the solution." The training simulation showed Marines adapting to constantly changing scenarios. Each challenge was met not with a predetermined response, but with a fluid approach that considered multiple variables simultaneously. It was less a display of military prowess and more a demonstration of cognitive flexibility. Elena Rodriguez's contribution went beyond physical capabilities. Her strategic analysis began to reshape how the Galactic Conquests understood warfare. Traditional military thinking relied on predetermined strategies and technological superiority. Humans introduced a completely new paradigm: adaptive intelligence as a primary weapon. Zix's quantum analysis revealed the depth of human potential. Their neural networks seemed to operate more like dynamic ecosystems than fixed computational systems. Each experience, each moment of challenge, became an opportunity for growth and adaptation. The alien researchers discovered something even more profound. The humans' approach to combat was fundamentally different from any known species. They didn't just fight to win. They fought to understand. Each engagement was a learning experience, each challenge an opportunity for evolution. Captain Chen's final presentation to the Galactic Conquests representatives drove the point home. "Humanity's greatest strength," he explained, "is our ability to find opportunity in uncertainty." The research stations buzzed with a new understanding. The recent battle was more than a military engagement. It was a demonstration of a fundamentally different approach to survival, to intelligence, to existence itself. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of it all, her calm demeanor a living testament to human potential. She wasn't just a soldier. She was a walking example of how adaptation could transform seemingly impossible challenges into opportunities for growth. As the research continued, one thing became increasingly clear. The Galactic Conquests was witnessing something unprecedented, a species that didn't just survive in challenging environments, but thrived in them. The tide of understanding was turning, and humanity was at the center of a fundamental reimagining of what it meant to be an intelligent, adaptive species in a complex and challenging universe. The research facilities of the Galactic Conquests transformed into a sanctuary of scientific discovery. Months of intensive study had revealed layers of human potential that challenged everything known about biological adaptation and intelligence. Dr. Lyra Chen stood before a comprehensive holographic display, her presentation about to change the fundamental understanding of species development across the galaxy. Representatives from 12 different civilizations watched with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. "Humanity's evolution is not a linear story," she began. "It's a complex narrative of continuous adaptation." The holographic display began to show Earth's geological and biological history. Unlike the carefully managed evolutionary paths of most known species, human development told a story of constant challenge and unexpected resilience. From the earliest human ancestors navigating extreme climate changes to modern humans surviving in environments ranging from Arctic tundras to scorching deserts, the presentation revealed a species defined by its ability to thrive in uncertainty. Zix's quantum intelligence projected additional layers of analysis. The crystalline being's computational systems had been working tirelessly to understand the human neural approach. What emerged was something far beyond traditional biological understanding. Their neural networks, Zix explained, operate more like living ecosystems than computational systems. Each experience becomes an opportunity for fundamental restructuring. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez became the focal point of the most intensive research in galactic history. Her neural patterns suggested a level of adaptability that seemed to redefine the boundaries of biological potential. Where other species required extensive technological augmentation to survive challenging environments, humans seemed to do this through pure biological innovation. The Atmospheric Preservation League's lead researcher presented a breakthrough study. Human neural plasticity demonstrated capabilities that seemed to blur the line between biological adaptation and conscious evolution. Each challenge became an opportunity for fundamental neural reconfiguration. Captain Marcus Chen provided critical context. Survival was never guaranteed for our species, he explained. Every generation faced challenges that would have destroyed less adaptable life forms. The holographic display shifted, showing human historical progression. From prehistoric survival to space exploration, the presentation revealed a species that transformed challenges into opportunities with remarkable consistency. Technological advancement wasn't just about tool creation. It was about fundamental problem-solving approached from entirely unique perspectives. Elena Rodriguez's personal history became a case study of human potential. Her background showed a lineage of individuals who had consistently found innovative solutions in seemingly impossible situations. Her great-grandparents had been climate adaptation specialists. Her grandparents were planetary colonization experts. Her parents worked on advanced environmental engineering. It's not just individual adaptation, Dr. Lyra Chen emphasized. It's a collective approach to survival that spans generations. The Geological Confederacy's researchers discovered something even more profound. Human DNA demonstrated a level of adaptive potential that seemed to defy conventional genetic understanding. Unlike most species with relatively stable genetic structures, human genetic code showed remarkable flexibility, almost as if evolution was a continuous, active process rather than a slow, incremental change. Zix's final analysis suggested something revolutionary. Humanity wasn't just another species in the galactic ecosystem. They represented a fundamentally different approach to intelligent life, a living laboratory of adaptive potential. The research presentation concluded with a series of projections that left the galactic representatives stunned. If human adaptive capabilities could be understood and potentially integrated, it would revolutionize everything from military strategy to species survival techniques. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of this scientific revelation. She wasn't just a soldier or a research subject. She represented a living testament to human potential, a walking example of a species that had turned adaptability into an art form. "We don't just survive," she said quietly during the final moments of the presentation. "We find ways to turn challenges into opportunities." The research facilities fell silent. The Galactic Conquests had come seeking to understand a single species. Instead, they had discovered a fundamental reimagining of what intelligent life could be. Humanity was not just another civilization. They were a dynamic, living proof that adaptation was the most powerful form of intelligence in the universe. The final stages of the Krell 9 campaign transformed from a military engagement into a profound moment of galactic realization. Forward Base Epsilon became more than a combat outpost. It was now a living testament to human potential, a beacon of adaptive intelligence that would reshape interstellar understanding. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of this transformative moment. Her calm demeanor belied the profound impact she and her squadron had made on the Galactic Conquests. Representatives from 12 different civilizations watched her with a mixture of respect, wonder, and a newfound sense of humility. Captain Marcus Chen delivered the final mission report, a document that would be studied for generations. Each word carefully chosen, each observation meticulously documented, the report was more than a military assessment. It was a comprehensive study of how humanity approached challenges that would have destroyed other species. Survival is not about overwhelming force, Chen explained to the assembled representatives. It's about understanding, adapting, and finding opportunity in the most challenging circumstances. The battle for Krell 9 had become something far more significant than a military victory. It was a fundamental demonstration of human capabilities that challenged everything known about intelligent life in the galaxy. Zix, the quantum intelligence, projected a comprehensive analysis of the entire campaign. Holographic displays showed multiple layers of human performance: biological, tactical, and strategic. Each layer revealed something extraordinary about human potential. The Atmospheric Preservation League's lead researcher presented a breakthrough study. Human neural plasticity had demonstrated capabilities that seemed to redefine the boundaries of biological adaptation. Where other species required extensive technological augmentation to survive challenging environments, Humans seemed to do this through pure biological innovation. Elena Rodriguez's personal journey became a focal point of the final assessment. Her ability to sleep soundly in conditions that would destroy other species' psychological stability was now understood as a complex adaptive mechanism. It wasn't just rest, it was a form of active regeneration and strategic preparation that defied conventional understanding. Representatives from the Geological Confederacy discovered something even more profound. Human genetic code demonstrated a level of adaptive potential that seemed to challenge fundamental principles of biological development. Unlike most species with relatively stable genetic structures, human DNA showed remarkable flexibility, almost as if evolution was a continuous, active process. "We are not just survivors," Elena spoke during the final presentation. Her words carried a weight that transcended the immediate moment. "We are continuous learners, constantly adapting, constantly growing." The galactic communication networks began to buzz with a new term. Adaptive warrior became more than a description. It became a concept that would reshape military and scientific understanding for generations to come. Sergeant Michael Rodriguez led a final demonstration that left the alien observers speechless. What appeared to be a simple tactical exercise revealed layers of complexity that challenged everything known about military preparation. The Marines moved with a synchronicity that suggested something beyond traditional training, a form of collective intelligence that was fundamentally human. Dr. Lyra Chen's research team compiled the final comprehensive report. It was more than a scientific document. It was a testament to human potential, a roadmap that showed how a species could turn challenging environments into opportunities for growth and development. The Krell 9 campaign became a turning point in galactic history. Where other species saw obstacles, humans had found ways to transform challenges into strategic advantages. The very environment that was designed to destroy them became their greatest weapon. As the final assessments were compiled, something remarkable happened. The Galactic Concordance began to reconsider its approach to understanding intelligent life. Humanity was no longer seen as just another species. They were now recognized as a dynamic, evolving form of intelligence that defied conventional categorization. Zix's final projection captured the essence of the discovery. Humanity represented a living laboratory of adaptive potential, a species that turned uncertainty into its greatest strength. The epilogue of the Krell 9 campaign was not about military victory. It was about a fundamental reimagining of what it meant to be an intelligent, adaptive species in a complex and challenging universe. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of this transformative moment. She wasn't just a soldier. She was a living proof that humanity's greatest asset was its ability to find opportunity in the most challenging circumstances. The galaxy would never be the same again. Epilogue. In communication networks across 12 civilizations, a new understanding began to take root. Humanity was not just another species. They were a testament to the power of adaptation, a living proof that true intelligence was about more than technology. It was about the ability to grow, to learn, and to transform in the face of any challenge.